Today's story is wild and tragic and cringe all simultaneously, but it's the backstory that led up to the recent viral video controversy that is truly bizarre. There is a common trend on TikTok where people do story time videos delivered through a text overlay while dancing to a popular song in the background. The last time I even thought about this trend was from a video I did almost a year ago where this young mom did a cute dance about her infant's critical health issue, and it just felt unnecessary. Let's watch it and then you tell me, you be the judge. Sending prayers, what happened? Lil Lee was taken in for long. She tested positive for RSV, waiting for him to breathe better on his own. Why are we dancing in that circumstance? Lil Lee is clinging to life, struggling to breathe, and you're making a TikTok dance about it? What the fuck is even going on anymore? Now, some people would say that is how kids cope with trauma these days. And to that I say, fuck that. No, we're not normalizing that. Hell no. Anyways, there was a similar reaction recently to a woman that goes by the Singing Widow on TikTok. Username spoiler alert. And she tried her hand at this dancing storytime video trend by delivering a story time about her husband getting killed in front of her, all while doing a choreographed dance to a cheeky pop song. It went viral, was shared to Twitter, and got millions of views and a heaping spoonful of criticism across all platforms. When I first saw it, I was also quite critical. I can't relate to her trauma, but the juxtaposition of her dancing gleefully while storytiming about her husband's death is fucking hilarious, if I'm being honest. But to normal people, it's unsettling and weird. My brain is just ruined from making too many YouTube videos. The original video has since been very hard to find. The tweet was deleted and she since privated her TikTok account. But here is a scuffed Portuguese re-upload to give you some context. Her story time reads, 8 years ago, a man killed and shot my husband. I was 3 days postpartum. 11 months later, the man who shot him was convicted of manslaughter. On the day of his sentencing, I gave a speech. I told this killer our love story. I also told him that if he ever started to feel sorry for himself, to remember my face. It remains one of the proudest moments in my life. So she's using the topic of her husband's death as context, flexing how she told off her husband's killer at the sentencing, and then subtly promoting her Instagram at the end where you can find the full story, allegedly. Listen, I'm no therapist and I'm not telling someone how they should or should not cope, but if I'm the brother or parent of this deceased husband and I see my former sister or daughter-in-law posting this online, hell no to the no, 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 hell to the no. Now, the reaction she ensuingly received on the internet was probably not what she was hoping. My high school sweetheart was killed in a car accident. I can't see any period of time passing that would make me comfortable making a coordinated dance in my living room while thinking about it. What a fucking psycho. Another user says, I never understood why people dance while talking about such dark and sensitive topics on TikTok. If someone was dancing to the story of my death, I would haunt them. And finally, the advent of TikTok and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Can't say that I disagree. Now, I understand that people cope in different ways, but we got to draw the line somewhere, right? I typically was agreeing with most of the critical comments I was seeing, but I wanted to get more context into the backstory here. So I did some digging and was able to find an article from 2015 about the circumstances around her husband's death. And this is where it gets even crazier and more tragic. Apparently, in 2014, a 62-year-old meth head named Charles was sitting in his apartment, probably smoking meth, when a gun he had acquired illegally accidentally discharged when he picked it up. The bullet traveled through his window more than 200 feet through a stand of trees and through a glass door before striking Jessica's husband in the back of the head and killing him. Jessica and Justin had just brought their firstborn child home from the hospital that day, and family members were gathering for a party when the shooting occurred. One of the responding officers was later quoted saying, "The odds, I'd guess, are 1 in infinity. This was just tragic." Now, I can't even begin to imagine what it's like to go through something that traumatic. So after reading that, my dormant empathy neuron started to wake up a little bit, which doesn't always happen. But suddenly I felt less judgmental and more willing to understand why someone might post a video like that. Grief is a personal journey not often understood by those looking in from the outside, and by posting online, you're opening yourself up to a lot of people on the outside. In fact, trauma dumping on social media is yet another new age phenomenon we likely don't know the full side effects of, but it's not that uncommon these days. I don't think it's always a negative thing, but in this case, sharing her trauma over the backdrop of a cheeky dance is likely what pushed it over the edge and into the negative viral attention. Now, as I was browsing through some of her additional Instagram content, she seems sweet, but it's clear that her entire online identity revolves around her journey from being a devastated widow to someone who has been able to find love again and is married once again with a new daughter. But it's like every single thing she posts, even like new content with her new husband and daughter, always has to circle back around to the trauma. For instance,
you get the choice to sit it out or dance. I hope you dance.
now listen, it's not anyone's place, including mine, to tell people how to grieve, but it does make me think of the social media feedback loop and the way it's designed to reward particularly emotionally jarring content. It can really trap people like this in an identity that is completely intertwined with their trauma in a way that makes it impossible to escape or ever leave behind and move on. And the cruel reality of the internet that we're often reminded of is that while it offers unique ways to connect and find comfort through community and digital sympathy, in this case, by doing so, you're also exposing yourself to a large percentage of the human race that wakes up every morning just to watch the world burn. And those types of individuals are always exceedingly proficient at using keyboards maliciously, as she's probably become keenly aware of this past week. Now, currently her TikTok is still privated and there's been no new IG posts since this happened, so hopefully she's taking some time offline to just spend with her family and tune out the noise. And to be clear, I'm wishing them nothing but happiness and prosperity, but this was a unique situation with an insane backstory that I wanted to talk about. So I'm curious how you guys feel about it. If there's anything to be learned, instead if you decide to trauma dump on social media as a way to help cope, maybe don't do it while you're hitting the gritty to whatever song is viral on TikTok that week. I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.